think, well, it's probably the first time this season where I talked about it on the pod 3 days prior and made no changes. So Minda will be happy with that. Yeah, there was a few tetchy towards the end. I can't remember who I was deciding. I think there was some defenders that might have changed. I might have brought in Vidra actually, who scored. But other than that, I was pretty set. The wildcard template midfield of Lingard, Son, Salah, Jota, and Fernandes. Although Jota and Fernandes didn't score, but the ownership just terrifies me if they do. So I think when I'm chasing that 1K, you've kind of got to be smart with the risks. You don't want to go too bold, in my opinion. And there's not many. There's probably only De Bruyne who can rival Fernandes, but with so many fixtures coming up for City now, I think that midfield is going to take a lot to change it. Obviously, Spurs this week with the double, but then the blank for Spurs 33. But then straight off the back of that, got Sheffield United and a few kind fixtures. So I'm actually looking to keep hold of Son throughout that game week 33. If I can sell elsewhere, I will do. And then defence, interesting one with Mendy and Azpilicueta both blanking despite the great fixture with Crystal Palace. I think they might have only had one shot on target, so it was completely different from that West Brom game. They were quite unlucky to concede Benteke in the air. Not many defences can handle that, but I do think Chelsea played a lot better. So going forward, I know they've got 3 more kind games. Well, Brighton, West Ham, Fulham before the fixtures start to turn. So I'm going to hold through them 3 and take a decision there. Pretty reluctant to sell the keeper. We talked about set and forget keeper. So pretty reluctant to sell Mendy, but after them 3 fixtures, I might if he's not kept a clean sheet in those 3. So that's one worth keep an eye on. Trent, we talked about last week. I think it's easy to say because it's the most expensive, but for anyone who can get Trent in now with them fixtures coming in and him got that Euro spot right in his head, I think he's the defender that everyone's going to want. Got lucky with Rob Holding coming in for Diaz, but we talked about him being the perfect fodder defender really at 4.2. So it's good to see that the defense was needed so early on into the wildcard. Well, the first week we know we talked about Pep Roulette and Diaz being the only safe option, and he wasn't in the end. He was dropped, rested for the Dortmund game. So I think we both made the call of no City players. Well, no City players or Diaz when we played our wild card, and I think that is still the strategy with so many cup finals and knockout games to come. And then up top, Kane blanked, surprisingly. He could have easily got a goal, but then obviously double I talked about with Son. Straight off the back of that, you got Sheffield United, Leeds and Wolves. So you're pretty reluctant to sell. If you've got Son and Kane, pretty reluctant to sell them just because the games that follow immediately after blank are great fixtures. And then we're going to talk about Iheanacho. 13 points last week. He's pretty much beating Vardy in every stat there is available. And he looked great in that last 30 minutes against West Ham. Speaking of West Ham, we can talk about Jesse Lingard as well, who's unbelievable again. So those 2 we're going to talk about in full. I think at their price point now, they're almost becoming game breakers. Jota was that at the season, early in the season. Gundogan was as well. So they're almost like the game breakers now. In terms of going forward, for those who've played the wild card last week, you've got great fixtures coming this week. So I wouldn't make a transfer. I'd hold off till 33. And then you've got the Tottenham, City, Fulham and Southampton, but no one's going to have them. You've got them blanking. So I'll probably make a decision then in 33, look ahead to beyond the rest of the season. I know Leeds fixtures turn the last 4 games. So I think it's all about looking 33, who I'm going to bring in, whether Connor Cody is the man for Diaz and then upgrade because I got Keenan Davis. He was just in there because I had no money left. So whether I get Connor Cody in because Wolves' numbers have upped recently. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of decisions to make to 33, but I've almost just take a step back this week. My only decision really is the last defender because I've got Azpilicueta, Shaw and Trent at the moment who all have good fixtures, but then I've also got Holding and Diaz on the bench who do have great fixtures as well. So that's going to be the only call this week, that 3rd defender spot. But yeah, those who played the wild card last week, I'll be very surprised if you haven't got a good looking team for this week. So yeah, I'm not looking to make any changes this week, but 33. I'll probably talk a lot more about the changes and what I thought behind it.